Today we're traveling to the Isle of Great Cumbrae. It's a small island that you can easily cycle around in a day. So let's take a closer look at where we're going. These are the travel options to your left-hand side in order for you to use private or public transport to get to Great Cumbrae. You will need to get a ferry. You can take your car on there. There's an extra charge for taking your car, but it's more convenient if you have a car around the island. However, there's also a cycle hire shop, so you can travel around the island very easily using that. Once you arrive at Larg's ferry terminal, that's when you'll have to purchase a ticket in order to get onto the ferry to cross over to Great Cumbrae. So you'll have to line up along the road like this. You can see the lineup of cars. The grey shed/building to the right hand side is where you purchase your ticket. And that's the ferry, so people can either travel as foot passengers or take their car with them. I've once again left information down below for ticket prices for the ferry. I want to quickly take you onto Millport's website to get information on the bus services that you'll need as soon as you get off the ferry if you're not driving. Now, there are helpful tabs for you to get information like things on camping, taking your pet, and other things such as the bus information that you will need ahead of your trip. So I'll link that website in the description box below. But this is the only bus, the bus number 320, that runs from Millport back to the ferry and around the island. This is the only service that's available. So it's helpful if you go onto the bus's current timetable, linked in blue on the website page, and check what the times are. They usually takes about 10 to 15 minutes, it says, to shuttle between the ferry slip and the main town of Millport, which is also the only town there. But it's helpful to find out when the last service is, so you're not stuck somewhere without any transportation to get back to town. Once you're on the ferry, I recommend you leaving your car and climbing upstairs so that you can enjoy your travel, even though it's a short journey. So that's us looking out onto Great Cumbrae. There's different seating options on the ferry. That is leaving Largs behind, just before I continue. So there's seats on the ferry, outdoor seating, when it's a lovely day like this, but there's also a sheltered area where you can sit behind a glass front, so you can still see the view but be protected from perhaps the cold weather. So this is the outdoor seating that I was talking about, and this is the indoor with some toilet facilities. You still have a view, as you can see. You can climb upstairs on both sides of the ferry depending on where you've parked, if you've got a car with you. That's a view of Largs that we're leaving behind. And then we're looking on to Great Cumbrae now. So there's lots of seating options there, and then we're just about to dock onto Great Cumbrae, so this would be a good time to get back into your car so that you can drive out. If you're foot passengers, then just get ready to go downstairs. There's also areas if you're using a bike that you can park your bike safely before climbing upstairs. Compared to Log, it's relatively empty because we haven't reached the main town of Millport yet. This is just the space where you can park your car opposite the ferry slip, and also when you can disembark the ferry. And this is the car park area that I was talking to you about, right opposite the slip, which also has a toilet facility. And this is the spot where you'd also get the bus around the island if that's what you prefer to do. Or you can take your bike from the ferry and just simply bike around. So this is the main road that takes you around the island. Now along the way you'll find plenty of spots where you can park your bike comfortably. There are less limited areas that you can park your car, and then just enjoy the beach areas that you find dotted here and there. So there's plenty of secluded places if you want to be away from the busy area of Millport and just enjoy a quiet time. There's also lots of accommodation options along the shoreline. You'll find all that information in the description box below. There's different websites for you to check out before you plan your trip. This is also the main road that you will bike around if you choose to hire out a bike after parking your car on the island. Now we've arrived at the main town of Millport. You can see that there are a lot more houses to your right, and then there's a huge beach on the left hand side called Thames Bay. Some of these houses on the right hand side, most of them are lived in by residents, but there are others who rent them out. Lots of benches dotted along the beach area, but as we travel around you'll find little cafes and eating spots. There's also children's activities usually during the summer. And there is a museum called Garrison House. If you want a car-free day, I think this is the perfect opportunity for you to park your car. There's a safe pavement area that curves around this entire area of Millport. So it's a great place for you to walk with your buggy, and if you're a wheelchair user, it's great because it's all paved all the way around. And this is the main beach area where you'll find a lot of people gather around. This is a photo of Garrison House where the museum is located. It's got beautiful gardens outside. You can find out more about what's available on Millport's website. So starting with Garrison House, where you find the museum, the cafe and the aquarium. There's a centre where you can either play golf or play lawn bowls. The golf course, I believe, is an 18-hole putting course. So you don't have to be an expert if you're just willing to give it a go. All novices are welcomed. Then if you're interested in walking, there is a map under this link that shows you, I think, 2 or 3 different walks that you can take around the island. It doesn't have to be the entirety of the island, depending on your walking ability. There's always a bit of information that I recommend that you take some time to read, which is much more than I can provide you in this video. So if I just click on the map at the bottom, you can see the dotted trails of the different paths that you can walk around the island, or part of the island even. So that's something that might be of interest to you. Next is something that's important. So this is where you would hire out cycles or bicycles or tandem cycles, or there's different options for those with little children as well. So this is a family-owned business that sells gifts and also sort of old-fashioned toys and modern toys, as well as hires out bicycles to those who are interested in cycling as the mode of transport around the island. And then if we move past that, there's another very interesting activity called geocaching. It's sort of like a treasure hunt that you could participate on, so great for children if you have a smartphone. I recommend going on to that website that you can see highlighted in blue so that you can get all the information that you need. But I think that's great for children because it gives them a sense of hunting around the island for something, and they'd get exercise without knowing it. And then I think last but certainly not least is this Watersports centre that Sports Scotland has on the island itself, which offers a variety of different activities. So something like windsurfing, sailing, kayaking if you don't want to attend any of the formal training that they have on offer. There are instructors at the National Centre so that you can get proper training and stay safe on the water. But if you want to just go and spot some local wildlife such as the seals or the diving gannets, then you can hire kayaks from them for an hour or two and then go around the 2 islands near the bay called the Islands, and you can spot some local wildlife that way. Next, let's take a look at some of the options for accommodation that you have on the island. So this is a motorhome park right behind Garrison House. I hope you can see the Garrison House just beyond the trees there. So just to the back of that is this area where you can stay with a motorhome. So those of you who own a motorhome, this might be a great place for you. Again, this is all found on the Millport website, which I'll link down in the description box below. Other accommodation options include caravan parks, as well as these sort of old Victorian style houses that face on to Kames Bay Beach. There's a couple of them to choose from. And there are other holiday flats that you can see in some of the pictures there. I wanted to take a look at this eco-friendly option here. So Jack's Alternative Stays. They're launching in summer 2022, so that's really exciting. It's an eco-friendly cabin. It's great because it's been made accessible for those who use wheelchairs, for those who have pets, for those who are allergic to pets. There's like no pets allowed style cabins. There's enough space inside, so if you have a wheelchair you can move around. There are railings in the bathroom. So they've really thought about making it accessible for everybody. So definitely take a look at this. Well, that's the end of the video. So I hope you've got some information ahead of your trip to Millport or Great Cumbrae. Have a safe journey and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.